Hello you lovely lot, welcome back to the DGL Drives channel, and today is a little bit different than normal. Normally you'd see me situated in or around a car, whether that's how expensive a car is, right through to driving the car and giving you my opinions. Well, today we're in what I like to call the COVID arms. This is how we got through COVID. This was our lockdown spot, and well, we built our own little pub. Even Cooper likes it because he's felt like he needs to come in and have a little join. But today, as I said, something a little different. And well, the reason the setting is what it is because it doesn't matter about the setting. Today, we're going over what I'm doing with the Ferrari 360, and fortunately, I had a little help with my decision. A few weeks ago, I put in a form submission to the Auto Alex squad, and well, they spoke about it on the podcast. And the topic, as normal, is keep or quit. Now, if anyone's wondering what that keep or quit might be and you're new to this channel, well, that's my gated manual Ferrari 360 with 74,000 miles. The reason I contacted them was for a few different reasons. Well, one, because there's a lot of money tied up in the car, which I believe I could be using that money in a better way. Most notably, probably buying a house, that's the logical option, as well as maybe getting something a little bit cheaper, like a Porsche 911, which I can use all the time, and maintenance is significantly cheaper. The other reason for wanting to sell it, well, that was the maintenance, as I indicated there. The car has been pretty cheap to own, pretty much all the way through, but up until recently, that was the case. Over the last month or so, I've started accruing some serious bills on maintenance through what was needed via MOT work, and also bits just to make sure the car lives on and gives it the longevity it needs. The only issue is, it comes at a painful whack to my wallet. So just to run you through what some of those bills are looking like currently. Well, it needed all the rose joints doing, so there's 4 of those, obviously on each corner. They were £250 each. Then the handbrake needed doing. The handbrake cable is only £30, but to do the job means stripping the whole interior and a few extra bits, which then accrues up to about £400. A major service with cam belts is £2,100, and on top of that, my ABS light was on. Now, looking into the ABS thing, it ends up the ABS module was sealed solid, so I've actually just had to order one of them. And that's probably the biggest win I've had with that car in the whole time I've owned it. It should have cost $4,700 if I bought the full module from America. And well, I think I've lucked out and found one for £324. So we are winning, but one of the biggest issues with this car is getting the parts. When I had a Porsche 911, if you needed a part, all you had to do was ring up your main dealer and they basically always had it on the shelf. You'd go down, collect it, fit it the next day. The Ferrari's a different kettle of fish. You can't get the parts, you have to scour the internet and find second-hand parts because in most cases they don't make the products or parts anymore. The only time they do is when they have a large enough batch order, and well, that could be 5 years from now, that could be tomorrow. There's no way of telling. So I put the questions over to Auto Alex, and what I'm going to do today is run you through their recording or their video on YouTube. If anyone is interested in what video it was, it's called The Grand Tour is Back, but not as we know it. And then I am situated at the very end of the video, an hour and 41 seconds in. So what I'm going to do is play the video, pause at certain points, and tell you what I'm thinking, and a little bit of why they might be thinking certain things. So let's get into it.
Moving on now to keep or quit, and Dean Lewis has sent in his keep or quit, which is actually really interesting one. I'd love to know your thoughts on it. So Dean Lewis has written, "Hey Auto Alex squad, I own a 74,000 mile Ferrari 360 with a gated manual, my absolute dream car. It's played a huge part in helping me kickstart my YouTube channel, which is called DGL Drives, and over the past 2 years I've racked up 17,000 miles. But here's the thing, I'm at a crossroads. Should I sell it, be a responsible adult and pick up something like a 997 911, which I'd probably mod, free up some cash and move on? Parts for the 360 are becoming a pain to source, prices keep climbing and no one wants local..."
Yeah, so this is a really interesting point, and this was kind of something that I was trying to get across to the Auto Alex a lot. Is fundamentally, getting work done on this car is getting increasingly difficult. There's only a few specialists in the UK, and if you went main dealer, well, you're going to pay a fortune. Those specialists being AV Engineering and Bob Houghton's. In fact, Bob Houghton's is where my car currently is, and they are the boys for the job. The only issue is, the closest one is over an hour and a half away, so it's not exactly somewhere that you want to just drop it off for a little bit of work and pick it up. If you're going to take it up there, it has to be something that is worth doing. Alongside that, I've had little things, as they said with Halfords, where basically I wanted an Apple CarPlay unit fitted in it. Now I appreciate it is a Ferrari, why would you take it to Halfords? But at the end of the day, it already had an aftermarket unit from the same brand in it. All I wanted them to do was swap the unit over. They wouldn't do it, they actually called specialists out, which was a pain in the arse, but we got it done. And that's the biggest issue. I never once had a problem with the Porsche with anyone working on it. People would quite openly work on it, and I think that's because it's quite transparent that the parts on it aren't too expensive. Whereas a Ferrari, well, it comes with that Ferrari tax. And don't get me wrong, if you can take the time to look at the product codes and find out that it's a Fiat part or something like that, it's a different story. But most people don't have the time, and also there's not a kind of a Bible out there that tells you exactly which parts are exactly the same. There's nowhere there to cross-reference it. So obviously that was what I tried to get over to the guys, so let's hear what they then had to say.
Or should I keep it, push it past 100,000 miles and hold on to it forever? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Your advice would be mega. Cheers. Dean, Rory, go for it.
Dean, we will swap our Ferrari for your Ferrari.
Yeah, so quit it.
Yeah, it's much lower mileage, and it was once driven by Clarkson, and it is broken.
And I will actually drive yours, Dean.
Yeah.
So,
So Dean, that's what you should do. There you go.
Thank you and good night.
It's there.
Do you know, that opens up a really interesting question as well. One of the biggest issues with my car, I find fundamentally, is one that it's quite rare, but the mileage is quite high, and I think that puts quite a lot of people off. I'm very tempted to, in theory, buy something cheaper. In theory, I could buy Stavros, their shop and shop Ferrari 360. I know it's been through quite a lot. It was owned by a bank robber or something, and it was driven by Clarkson on one of the Top Gear films. So it would be a really cool car to own, but I think I'm okay. Maintenance is heavy on these cars, whether you buy a cheap one or an expensive one. And to be honest, I believe I'm saying this, but it's mainly a frustration at how difficult the parts are getting to acquire. And really, that's why I'm looking at other brands.
Hypothetically, if that's not an option for Dean,
Okay.
yeah, what should he do? Keep or quit. What are you, keep or quit, and why?
I would quit, because if he's already having this thoughts in his head, he already knows the answer. I think he's trying to find other people to tell him, no, you stop being stupid, Dean. You need to keep what you got. But he's obviously already having these thoughts of, I'm done.
Yeah, but it's like any relationship.
Okay, yeah, but it's still, I don't know. I feel like Dean. I think Dean's made up his mind.
Okay.
Do you know, I think Rory is spot on with this. I think the frustration that I've been seeing with these parts has almost pushed my hand into thinking of getting rid of the car. And well, as most of you know, currently it looks like there is a trade that's going on, that hopefully I will be trading my car for something else. A lot more to come on that soon. But I think he's right. As soon as you start getting to that eke of doubt in your head, it's very difficult to shift. And don't get me wrong, this car is incredible to drive, and that gated manual is so much fun. But I'm just so worried that something will go wrong with it all the time. It's the only car I've ever owned where it comes with this sense of anxiety every time you drive it. And I don't think that's necessarily because it's a Ferrari. I think it's because it is, in theory, an aging supercar, and they need maintenance, and well, they have their quirks. That being said, I've taken the car across 10 different countries, 17,000 miles, and it's never missed a beat. But I could just tell that something was going to come. And well, it looks like that thing that came was obviously the heavy bill that I'm going through now. But it also sets up a perfect opportunity to sell the car with clear conscience, knowing everything's been done, and kind of close that chapter for me. So I think Rory is really onto something, but let's hear what the others have to say.
All right, well, I'm on the other side of the fence completely.
Okay.
Dean, I think you should keep it because from your email, you say, and I'm quoting you verbatim here, my absolute dream car. You also said prices keep climbing. And I think that this car means more to you than you actually realise. It's a bit like you with your F11 on a completely different scale. But you got rid of it, you missed it, and now you have it back. You're like, oh, it's the best thing ever.
Yeah.
I think if you sell that car, you might not be able to get back into it if you decide to change your mind.
Also,
So Dean, what you need to do is trade it in for a Range Rover.
Yeah.
And then make sure you trade it into a friend who will then give you your car back when you regret it later on.
That's a little bit of money.
yeah. That's
But
good, that.
I think, Dean, this should be your forever car because, like you said, it's helped kickstart your YouTube channel as well. So you've got to be thankful for it. You can't just get rid of it. It's a part of the family. You've done 17,000 miles. Get it past 100,000 miles. Make it a high mileage hero. Love it. Mod it. Why not mod it? Okay, you said you were going to do that to a 911. Also, if you're going from a Ferrari with a gated manual to a 997, 911, I mean, there's no contest, is there? If you're a real petrol head, like the engagement of the Ferrari will be so much greater. And I think you'll really miss the noise and the feeling. And also saying to people, I have a Porsche or I have a Ferrari, people are always going to be way more impressed with a Ferrari. And you have this car now, don't get rid of it because one day you might not be able to afford it again.
So that's the issue, is Alex has hit on nearly all the points that are the reason that I don't want to sell it. And that is because it was my dream car. I mean, I don't know how many of you have seen it, but National Treasure was one of my favourite films growing up, and it was when he got his lousy, stinking 1% Riley in the film, he bought a Ferrari 360. And ever since then, it's been a poster car of mine. When the little shell pullback toys came out, I ended up hoarding the 360s, and well, yeah, it is my absolute dream car. Now, he is right, prices are rising on manual 360s. The only issue with mine is the fact it's 74,000 miles. Mine doesn't fall into a collector set per se. And when they say a high tide raises all ships, yes, it might bring my 360 up a little bit, but I don't think it will ever go to the moon. I think it's a car that fundamentally won't shift very much in price. And what my thoughts were was I could use that money to try and make more money. He is correct though. If I end up missing this ship and all of a sudden these do something like the V12 Murcielagos in America, it's gone forever. And I do appreciate that. One of the key things with this trade though is there's a good chance that I actually might be able to buy it back. So this might be the perfect middle ground. I can come out of the car for a time, and if I do need to go back into it, I have access to the car and I could have those conversations. So I think I might be going down the right route, but well, Alex is making me feel really guilty. So let's hear what Taylor's got to say.
Taylor, what do you think?
I agree. Also, it sounds to me like you started your YouTube channel with that car. Therefore, a lot of people probably know you for having that car. So, yeah, I think if you were to sell it, I think you'd regret it.
Yep.
And I think to buy it back would cost more money. And
Exactly.
Yeah, it may be unattainable because the prices of them are going up.
Yeah.
I wouldn't sell it.
Okay.
I'd keep it and drive it and enjoy it. And
Sell it.
I wouldn't worry about putting miles on it either.
Okay. So this week we have got 2 keeps and 1 quit. Dean, let us know what you decide. We'd love to know the next chapter of this Ferrari. And if it's really cheap, like 1,500 quid, I'll date you around.
Yeah, then definitely.
And if you do want to trade it for R1, then just let us know.
I mean, their car is insanely low miles, but what would you choose? Would you choose a 74,000 mile car with history, full service history, and really well maintained? Or would you choose a 14,000 mile car, which I think in their own words they've said is pretty much a chop and shut? So it's an interesting proposition. Taylor, again, is hitting on the fact of yes. I suppose a lot of people that are watching this a lot of people that are watching this channel probably do know me for my Ferrari 360 or the 458 of the Defender that's on the channel. But I also think if I was to do a 911, it becomes a project. The issue is with the Ferrari 360 is fundamentally I've done those kind of videos on it that I wanted to. There's not much more I can do with it. They say about modifying it. The issue is modifications for a Ferrari are silly money and they add no value. And I appreciate if I was keeping it forever, that's a different story. But I just don't think I can afford to keep this car forever. If it keeps on giving me the bills that it currently has, which hopefully not, because I had 3 years before with very little bills. But it's now just a thing eating away in my head about the car, and I think fundamentally I needed to make this video to realise how many reasons I'm making to sell it. So fundamentally, I think that's the case. I think the car is going. It's going to someone I know, so hopefully, should I ever want to trade back into it, I could do so, and well, I think that's the move. Taylor is very right in everything he's saying, and it is the fact that it is from the channel, and that's kind of what I've kind of been known for. And in fact, at Food and Fuel, someone even asked if I was Dean from the podcast, and was it my 360, which was a really cool moment. I get that the engagement will be better, and I get really it is fundamentally the brand or something synonymous with it that is more prestigious than a Porsche. But I think a Porsche I could use all the time. I wouldn't have the anxiety, I wouldn't have the bills, and I think in theory I could make more money with the money I have in that car doing something else. So realistically, that's what I think I'm going to do. That's what I'm getting across. Thank you so much to the Auto Alex guys for going over this, and well, hopefully I'll be in contact with them really soon to explain what I've swapped it for. But until that's all confirmed, I don't want to do anything else, and well, I'll speak to you all soon. I'll see you all soon. Please like, subscribe, and follow the channel for whatever happens in the future, especially the Ferrari 360. Thank you to the Auto Alex guys for making me part of the pod in that episode, and well, bye-bye!